YouTube. It's JP Dillon. Welcome to part 7 of the Sony kv-1942r Trinitron. We got everything back together in the previous video, and now I want to focus on doing the setup adjustments, basic size, geometry, convergence, all that sort of thing. So we're first going to look at live TV, just to set our basic height and vertical centering, and then we'll use our little portable generator to look at geometry test patterns, pincushion, etc. We'll see if we can touch up the convergence a little bit. But otherwise, this is a very good looking set, definitely worth the efforts. And so without further ado, let's get it fired up and see what she does.
Black Lagoon. Looks like I need a harpoon for this one, Arnold.
Got everything I need to go to. Got my water skis, my diving suit, my snorkel, and my flipper.
So as is, it's a pretty good looking set with very nice color.
Need to learn how to swim. Come on, Blood. You know I know how to swim good now.
So I think what we're going to do is start by adjusting the vertical size.
Stop acting like brothers.
And we're going to make it so that we have
How do you like my new baby?
a little bit of overscan.
Where is
I'm going to see if there's a vertical centering.
That's it.
Yep,
It's a bikini.
vertical center.
You look darling, Kimberly.
Thank you, Mrs. Garrett.
Hey, listen,
To make it
guys,
so we have equal amounts of skin,
Hey,
top
that's
and
a nice
bottom,
bathing
as
suit you're
best
almost
possible.
Well,
And we'll adjust
it
for a
was
slight
trying to
amount of
turn this into one
overscan.
piece.
well, I'm glad you took both pieces. Hey, look, kids, we're all set.
Alright, so next thing let's do is turn down our color. And let's set our grayscale here. The grayscale looks okay. Black level's a little bit higher than I'd like. In fact, if I grab the remote here and we just go to a blank channel momentarily, we see that there's a little more black level than I'd like. So let's see. Sometimes there's a sub brightness control. Sometimes there's not. It's hard to see in some of these areas back here. That's your color. Alright, so we can turn down the G2 just a smidge. So that gives us proper black level, it looks like. So now what we'll do, let's see, if I switch over to the 300 ohm, yeah, that only minorly changes that. I definitely have to turn that off. And we'll turn on the pattern generator, and we see, well, the camera might be compensating for this a little bit, white balance wise, but to me it looks a little reddish. So we're going to do the setup adjustments. I'm just going to kill everything here. And let's see. The drives are on the neck board. The screens are on the output board here. So we're going to start with the weakest one. Start with red. And I think what I'll do is we'll go back to regular TV, just because the video output of this isn't quite as good. And we'll start here with the reds. And then we'll increase the blue to make magenta. And you're looking at pixel intensity, really. It's much easier to work with a stationary signal for sure. In fact, if I can get it to blank out there, let's go to a dead channel. Let's see if I can get the camera to zoom in well enough. Yeah, not sure if it'll do it. I'm going to try to show you the pixel intensity. We're going to start off with the red, and then we're going to increase it so that the blue just starts to illuminate there, so that both pixels seem to be the same intensity. And then we'll bring the green up to where everything looks black. So that's pretty damn close. And then again we'll reduce scrambled program. Well, I've never seen that before. Cool. Okay, well, so that's our basic grayscale. Maybe it's a little bit hotter on the red than I'd like. Pretty good grayscale looking there. Alright, so let's go back to some live TV again. So the grays look pretty decent. So now let's bring our contrast / picture control up halfway. And what we're looking for is the tint of the whites. I prefer a little bit of a warmer picture, so a little more red is preferable. But honestly, the whites on that look pretty cherry. We definitely have some tilt going on. You can see that the picture's a little slanted. But overall, the grayscale looks really nice on this. So I think let's go to a pattern here. And let's see if we can't clean up the tilt problem a little bit. And then we'll work on pincushion and stuff. So there's a clamp that holds the yoke still on the back. I'm going to loosen it. And hopefully it's not stuck to the neck of the tube. And of course, it doesn't want to move. It's very well stuck to the neck. Let's see here, which direction do we need to tilt? Counterclockwise a hair. See, this neck is fragile. The yoke is fragile. I don't want to break stuff. You can see it's trying to move, but it's kind of welded itself to the neck, and I don't want to bust it. I also don't want to break any of these correctional magnets that are on here. There's a lot of them. So I'm just trying to rock this back and forth just enough to persuade it to get loose, but so far I'm not being very successful. It's a smidge better. I wish I still had some of that Yoke off stuff. Used to have an aerosol of that. That was a fairly decent solvent slasher lubricant. Alright, well that seems to be as good as I can get it. I don't want to force it and risk busting it up. So now let's see if we can correct the pincushion a little bit. There is a pincushion adjustment here. It's kind of trippy how that works. Do you see how that affects convergence too? We're looking for straight lines on the sides. We got a little bit of bowing here. There's also a pincushion bias adjustment, which is supposed to affect the intensity of the adjustment overall. That's not bad. Let's see if we can tweak the bias adjustment a little bit. You don't get a whole lot of adjustment on that. We got a little bit of error still on the right side, but otherwise it's pretty good looking. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect. Okay, so next we're going to do our horizontal static convergence. You want to converge the center of the screen. See, in one direction it's bad, another direction it's bad. That's all high voltage controlled, by the way. So that's pretty good. And then we've got our bowing. Not having too much effect there. So we're going to put that back where we had it. Horizontal correction. And then we've got our shift. Yeah, there's not a whole lot this one needs. This one's actually in really good shape. So that's it for the static adjustments. And then there are some dynamic magnet adjustments up here. It's pretty close to what it should be. I mean, this thing really is in nice shape. I'm going to adjust the focus a little bit. See if I can sharpen up those lines some. But that's pretty good. I'm liking the way that looks. The tilt's going to bother me a little bit. I'm going to see if I can spray some fader lube on the neck and see if I can bust it loose a little bit. So sometimes you can get it off with the Oxid fader lube, F5. I don't use this for slide pots anymore because I find that if I do, the plastics will get soft and the pots will wear out. So I'm going to see if I can get this yoke loose using a tiny little bit of this stuff. Doesn't take much. Yeah, let's see if I can rock it back and forth. Still doesn't want to budge. Yep, that thing's really on there. Well, anyway, I don't want to try to bust it. Now the set's had a chance to warm up a little bit, I noticed the red kind of creeping up somewhat. So I'm going to back that off just a hair. I keep rocking this yoke hoping that it will get loose on me, but it's not. It's annoying, but it's not worth the risk for me to crack or break the neck, because you can do that if you get too rough with it. Alright, so now that that's been done, I'm going to switch over to basic color bars. And let's turn this up a little bit and see where we're at. See, what am I tweaking there? Red, green, and blue. Hard to tell because the camera does a terrible job at exposure. I'm trying to get it to expose on one of the bright parts so it'll back off a little. That works better. So now you can see that there's a little bit of a tint shift. The red does look a little pink. I know that that's true on this generator. But if we go to full color bars, of course it's going to blank. Let's see if I can stop that from blanking. And yeah, the tear on the top, that's my generator's fault, so I know that to be true. Don't worry about that. Because if I tweak it with the fine tuning, it really doesn't change anything. Let's turn the AFT back on. That's a really nice gamut. And if we go to the full rainbow, looks even better. Blanky blanky. Oh yeah, here come the phone calls. It's an hour before we open. Alright, let me grab that real quick. Alright, so this thing's, I mean, for all intents and purposes, really happy. The camera really doesn't do it justice. This thing really has just phenomenal color. Now, everybody talks about the support wires on the Trinitrons and how they're visible. I can see them. You got one running along here. You got one running along here. Really bright pictures. You can see it. Got a little bit of purity error up here, but not enough that I really care about it. Let's turn this down a smidge. But just a really rich color gamut. Let's go back to live TV and see what it looks like. I find that I can dial it in better if it's live TV.
Cleanest waters on Earth, and they are also the exclusive habitat of the
Yeah, the Lumasponder doesn't work.
A food source naturally high in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids. Harvested
Or maybe
after
it does.
18 months on the vine.
Let's see what happens
Then
if
they go
I
through
shine a
the
flashlight on
proprietary
it.
extraction process, resulting in one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories in the world.
I can get my
Omega XL.
flashlight
When we talk about
app to
people who
open.
love this product, I mean, millions of people have ordered Omega XL, but one of the people
Oh, yeah, it
that I was
does
so
work.
impressed when I heard him talk about it
Brighter.
was Larry King.
Dimmer.
Because his credibility
Brighter.
is everything in the
Dimmer.
profession that he does, and you just don't hear him endorse
Spiffy.
products, but he loves Omega XL. And in fact, we're going to let you hear more about how it's changed Larry King's life. Take a look.
No amount of money would have me put my reputation on the line to endorse a product.
Isn't he dead?
When this product was brought to me, I said, first I want to use
I wonder
it.
if they realize that. He's
Let me
dead.
try it.
At least I think he is.
This product works.
Nice flesh tones.
Why would you be back?
Let's go to something else that's a little more saturated. Of course, now we're not going to get any
In the
reception
South.
today.
To be exact. Music here in San Diego.
Como un todo, en global,
Probado, pero está muy rico. No tiene refugio.
Acaba de obtener un plan de Medicare con primas de
$1.99, it's totally possible to eat fresh fish on a budget. Our sheet tray method.
A little bit of more orange than I'd like on the facial tones.
You do not have to use the
Tweak
ones that I
that
use.
just a
You should
little
use the ones that
bit.
are local and seasonal to you now, because they don't have to ship them far. That reduces shipment cost and reduces overall cost. Plus, the stuff is more nutritious. Let's get a bite.
Let's see if I can
Potato, asparagus, salmon.
zoom in a little bit
Just
here.
flicks off like that.
Of course, it's going to go blanky blanky.
Oh, big bar. The packet drawer mustard and
Come
maple
on.
syrup sauce is delicious. It makes the salmon taste like a more expensive one. Brilliant!
Yeah, this thing is just way too bright.
Signor Sony, Petrocelli's bookkeeper, says the impresario was talking a lot about the
Murder, She Wrote.
So great. Young rider from Mammoth, huge future ahead of him.
This cooks the chicken so that frying is done mainly to
Okay, wait, no, that was so big.
Breathing helps you clear out whatever
Man,
else
just
is going on.
flesh tones and colors are so sharp and accurate. I just love these things. It's really rare to find one with a hot CRT like this. They just look so nice.
Can we do it tonight? Tomorrow may be too late.
Boys, you better get ready for bed.
Okay, where's the guest room?
Like I said, the camera just doesn't do it justice.
Got it.
no problem. Phil, you can have the girls' room. It may be a little too feminine for you, but if you get hungry in the night, Ruthie hides a salami in her nightstand.
And we can sleep out here on the floor.
Alrighty.
Tonight. Great.
So this thing is
Oh man,
this thing's good to go.
3 more will be just like the old days in Ireland.
Wish you guys could see this in person. This thing is just so crisp and sharp.
He's a real nice guy, Ruthie. He sure is. Well, so is yours. You know, I think it's really neat that after all these years, the radio station.
I think as long as I don't watch anything letterbox or anything like that, the leveling's not going to bug me too
We
much.
looked at each other. There's something going on. You know a secret? No, we don't. I don't care if you
Nice
do.
crisp
You don't
scan
wanna
lines
tell
for
me, I
you
don't
people
wanna
that
hear
like scan lines.
Okay. What is it? You women sure are nosy.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
man. So this thing's all set.
Want some candy? Forget it. Uh-oh, she's getting tough, Willis. Maybe you better tell her. Girls
Lots
can't
of fresh caps.
Aw, she ain't like a girl.
Boards all cleaned up and resoldered. Fancy schmancy.
Okay, if we tell you the secret, you gotta take a blood brush off my tail. You got a sharp pen or needle? What for? We cut them so the blood spurts
Yeah,
out,
buddy.
and then we rub 'em
All right. Let me just put this back in the holder here real quick.
You're gonna cut my thumb. You're gonna.
So there it is. A nicely operating
Can't we just
Sony kv-1942r. Fresh caps, nice hot CRT, everything on it's working really nicely. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series. This one's just going to go in my living room and get some good watch time on it. Really nice set, well worth the effort. If you can find one of these with a good CRT, it's definitely worth the time to fix it up. So this will definitely be one I hold on to. Somewhere in my vast quantity of crap, I do have one of the faux wood stands that was for this set. So I'll have to dig that out and spiff that up. And they made this in a 17-inch, a 19-inch, which is what this is, and then I think a 21-inch. Never seen the 21-inch version. It's got to be huge and heavy, because this one certainly is heavy. It's just probably close to 80 pounds. So I can't imagine what the 21-inch is like. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. More stuff to come. But of course, Everyone's going to see it shut off, assuming that I can do that without getting in the way of the camera. Blammo. Stay tuned for more stuff.